Hi everyone. Think we're live. Let me just check. Yep, we're live on Insta. Hi, Glimpse Stamps, Ange loves Scrapkey, Paula Vamp. Hi, thanks for joining me. Hope you'll stay with me. Right, let me just check we're on Facebook then. God, I've got so many windows open. Where are we? Eek. Oh my gosh, Facebook's giving me memories from wherever. Hello, Miss Christine. So we're on Facebook too, and I'm assuming we're okay on YouTube too, so that's fabulous. Okay. Right, let me get back to my screen. Okay. So just going to give... So first of all, I need to do housekeeping because you know I'm like, I always forget. So let me just put this in the comments. So don't forget, everyone, you need to type in the comments to be in with the giveaway draw. Okay, so I'm going to type that. I've put that in the comments there, so to remind you all. And then today we have got a special little code for you as well, because I forgot that last time too, because I was so disorganized. So here's your code coming up, so don't miss that. So for 24 hours, so today and tomorrow, it ends tomorrow night, Monday, you can get 15% off the whole store with this code, okay? So you can do that. Well done, Paula. Well done, Vamp. I will let you know what you're going to win just through the live, because it depends what we use, doesn't it? It might be a voucher. I always think vouchers are best, aren't they? Like a store credit is best because then you can get what you actually want, rather than it kind of being a specific item, because you might already have that. So I always think doing it as an actual store credit is best. So let's say that one lucky winner is going to get a £20 store credit today. Okay, so I need to get rid of this because, just let me, sorry, I just need to, I've got that many windows open and I can see myself on Instagram at the same time. It's very confusing. Oh my gosh, what's that? That's another window open there. Right, okay. So how are you all? Anyway, hope you're all doing well. Hi, Pippa. Not been able to watch a live in ages. I've not really been able to do one live in ages. I did one last week. I was on TikTok as well, trying to do TikTok, and I got barred. I'm unbarred. I think they did it in 24 hours, but I haven't got over to TikTok again. I've had one of those weeks. I'm kind of struggling with, I'm about to get a migraine today, so I'm kind of like medicated, so God knows what's going to happen, because I get really clumsy. My pills give me, like, make me really clumsy, and they make my speech quite slow, like a little bit, not slurry, but I feel like I speak really slowly when I've had my medication for my migraine. So I have to sort of take them just to stop myself getting one. And I only take half a pill, but it still gives me quite strong effects. So I try not to take a full one because that just knocks me out. So I have a half a pill, and that usually can kind of push it off. So this is why, and I do get them quite a lot, I must admit. So a lot of it is like sleep related, isn't it? And constantly looking at screens and things. So I hope you're well, Pippa. Christine is here from the design team. I'm sure some of the other girls are going to join us as well. So if anyone that's joining late, because I can see there's a few of you, so enter win in the comments to be in the live giveaway. That's a £20 store credit for somebody, and then also 15% off the whole entire website. Okay, so I'm going to crack on. I'm going to get started. Hi, Shani. Hi. Thanks for joining me. So before I start, I've got to show you something funny. Oh my gosh. So if you saw me on Hobby Maker, do you know it's 2 weeks ago already? I do not know where the last 2 weeks have gone. It's just been crazy. So, but I want to show you because I did actually mention this when I was on Hobby Maker, and I think this is hilarious. Well, it's not funny actually. Well, it kind of is, but it isn't. So anyway, let's go here. Okay. So I want to show you. You see this? Can you see that? Can you see where this is all burned and charred? Do you know what that was? So, like an idiot, and I know not to do this, okay? So, you know, I aren't. Contrary to popular belief, I really am not an idiot. But what I was doing was I'd actually painted some MDF. I'm showing you this so that you know what not to do, okay? So let me put it on this angle. So I had been painting and gessoing MDF. Hello everyone. Hi Kathy. Hi Charlene. Hi Flower Bees. Yeah, get in the giveaway. Get in the giveaway. So I'd been painting MDF, and then basically I was in a bit of a rush because I was prepping for TV, and basically I wanted it to dry. So what I did was this. So I actually put, can you see? I put my heat gun, like I set it going, and I like just balanced it on top of my lid like that, so it wasn't touching anything. And then I had my MDF propped up here, and it was just drying all the gesso off and the paint off. And I literally walked out of the room, went and washed my spongy out, came back, and this had happened. So whatever you do, do not leave your heat gun running, because look, this was literally about to set on fire. I think if I'd have been another minute or another 30 seconds, that would have gone up in flames on my desk. So please don't ever leave and especially don't leave it like this on your desk. So, you know, it's just so dangerous. And this is watercolor cardstock, so it takes quite a bit to burn through that because it's actually really thick. So please don't ever do that. Do not leave your heat gun. And Mr. Doodles has just walked in and heard me confessing to this because I didn't tell him I'd done this. So please don't do it, okay? But it is quite funny at the same. Well, it's not funny. As someone who's had a house fire, and I mean a really bad, not just a house fire, a really, really bad house fire. I'm telling you, do not do it, please. Flower Bees, thank you. We've got lots of people in now. Charlene, Pauline, hi. Jacqueline, hi. So anyway, hello. We've got regulars. We've got new names today, which is nice. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to get on. And we'll see where we go. As usual, you know what it's like. I just kind of go with the flow a bit. So my camera's gone a little bit wonky today, so I feel like everything's a little bit which isn't helping with my migraine situation. So can I use that? I'm going to use... Oh no, I can't. Can I really? Doesn't look great. I'm leaving that in the top of my drawer though to remind me of what an idiot I am. So what I'm going to do today, hi Saskia. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the new collection. So we've got the Bright and Beautiful collection, which obviously we only launched 2 weeks ago, so still brand new. And what I'm going to do, I think I'm kind of going to, obviously as always, we're going to kind of go with the flow a little bit. And I've got a plan, but I'm kind of probably going to tweak it just a little bit as I go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I want to use, let me just grab my stencils. Oh, it's so organised. Oh no, I was really organised until I knocked that off. So I'm going to use my new stencils. So we have loads of new stencils in this collection. So I'm just going to grab, let me see, which ones? I think we'll go with the petals. Okay, so should I go circles? I think I might go circles, you know. So we have the boho circle stencils. So these are layering stencils, but you can just use these individually if you want to. So in this set, now you'll have to ignore me here because originally this was 6 and I actually cut it down, trimmed it down, and I don't know, I haven't got a pack. Oh gosh. I know we've definitely got this one. I don't know which is in the set, so you're going to have to bear with me. But whatever I do, you're going to be able to pretty much create. But it's actually set 4 now. So let me see. I don't think we've got, bear with, I think it's these 4. That's a bit remiss of me. I should have really sorted them out. Right, okay. I'm going to just take my cardstock down. Just so that it doesn't move. Oops, I've run out of tape. That's not good, is it? So don't forget, everyone, enter win in the comments at Sprinkle with Cards. Hello on YouTube. Hi, Chrissy. Oh, lots of you around today. That's really cool. So with the boho circles, it's not just circles that you get in here, as you can see. The whole point of this stencil really is kind of about creating like sort of geo effects, so like very much sort of geometric, but you're going to layer these up. Now, one little tip I would say to you is, because there's 4 stencils in the set, and you're going to, can you see how they kind of layer? So you're going to start creating shapes. So there's stencils and masks. Now you can use each one of these individually on its own as well. And obviously what you can do is you can flip them, and you can flip them that way too, or you can flip them that way. So you get loads of, this is why I cut the set down, because originally when I designed it, I actually had 7 in there. Then I cut it down to 6 because I thought that we don't need 7. And then I kind of thought, well, actually, even if I go down to 4, you've still got lots of possibilities because you can flick them around and you can just get the nicest effects here. Now, a little tip for you, you don't have to do this, but the first time I used these, I basically, let me just get a lighter brush. I basically put way too much colour on. So I was kind of going with like 3 or 4 colours when I first did it. And because I was doing lots of layering, they, Saskia, that's funny, got every layer out, still searching for them while laying in front of me. Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah, so basically, I kind of went full on multicolour, and because I was doing so many layers, what happened was I felt like it had all gone a little bit muddy by the end of it. So what I would recommend is kind of restrict how many colours you use, okay? Because what you've got to remember here is, if I use this blue and then I put the pink over the top, I'm already on 3 colours, because I've then got purple, pink and blue. So just go steady with it. Just maybe, have a little play first of all. But you can see, look now, if I flip that, look what happens here. So then we create here half circles, look. Do you see what I mean? So, but it's kind of going to immediately overlap on these sections. So play around with it, because look what happens now. If I flick that one and go the reverse look, now I've masked off what I've just actually made, and that will also help protect those colour blocks. Now the other thing that I kind of want to do, I think, is I want to use, I think I'm going to go yellow and blue, because it's a combo I don't use very often, and Natalia on the design team, she does use that combination, and every time she does it I absolutely love it. So let's go with Squeezed Lemonade. And let's see what we end up with. So I've not done this combo, and I've not really done it where I've actually flipped the stencils over either. So This is kind of new for me as well. Now these also will be quite good to create a bit of a checkerboardy effect. You see? So it's like quite soft. It is quite soft. So, you know, that is what I'm creating as you're seeing it. So let's go to another one. So let's, let me see. So let's go to this one. Okay. So as you're building it up, you can kind of see where your colours are going. So if I now went on to this again with yellow, I'm going to end up with green here. So really think about the colours that you're using, because obviously yellow and blue is going to make green. So are you going to add another colour in there? You know, like a nice soft pink. But don't forget as well, you don't have to do the whole entire stencil. So for instance here, I've got this one and this one that have no colour in whatsoever. What happens if I actually flick this? I get it completely different again. And then this time there's only actually this block that's not got any colour in. So do I want to use that stencil? I might come to that in a minute. So let's use a different one. So let's go to one of the others. And I didn't number these on purpose because I want you to be able to play around with these. Now I can tell that we do have the little holes. So really I should have set the little holes so that they all matched up, but I didn't. So never mind, I'm just going to kind of play around. Now I'm quite liking this effect. So now on here, can you see I've kind of got like a teardrop shape here, and look how on the stencil below we've now got a circle in there as well, and look how these two circles are cut. So we can start, this is where we can start to really sort of see those patterns coming in. Now what I'm going to do, because we're going yellow and blue, I've got squeeze, I did squeezed lemonade, but I might come in with a darker yellow, and so I'm going to go with mustard seed. Okay, and I've not got my mustard oxide, but I'll just use my distressing. Bear with me guys, I need to get a different brush. Okay, because I don't want to contaminate that squeezed lemonade because it's such a pale yellow. So this time let's go and let's see what happens. Yeah, so it's kind of going, turning my blue one quite green. Gosh, that's a bit dried out. I think I need some new distress inks, to be honest. So, you know, you just go with it as you wish. And I'm going to go over that one. I'm just going nice and lightly though. And this one is going to give me, sorry, the camera keeps fading in and out. Let me just zoom. Let me just sort the lighting out. I think it might be a bit bright. I've got an overhead light on. There you go. I don't know. Is that any better? That's better. Okay. Had it too bright. Okay. So you see this one? This is kind of going to give us like a bit of a two-tony look. So can you see how nice that's actually starting to build up? Now, at this point, I kind of feel like I want to bring some pink in. Or I think maybe a lilac might look quite nice if you were doing spring. Lilac's not really my colour, but I think it would probably look quite nice. Now this one, I've kind of got some funky kind of curved shapes on this. I hope this one's in set. I think it is. Like I say, I've forgotten which ones are in there, so I apologise if I show you something that isn't actually in that set. But can you see that I'm just going really lightly? I don't want to go over the top because it will turn quite muddy. You know, as soon as you start adding anything kind of red in there, it's going to kind of, you start getting into those sort of brown hues, and I really don't want to do that. So Let's just get a bit of pink. And you can literally just pick and choose where you want that to go. There's a really nice stripe, kind of candy stripe effect going on down here. And if you wanted to, what about doing like a half blend? So look on this one, let's just make that a bit rhubarb and custardy here. And let's do that up here as well. So we kind of get a bit of, you see, I'm creating my own lilac in there anyway, look. So I'm just going to go half on there. So let me just lift this up. There is endless hours of playing. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And also using them as a mask. I can't emphasize that enough. This is really not looking great in the light here. Let me just zoom that off again a bit more. Let's just go back. The camera just self-adjusts. But you see what I mean? Now that pink is actually quite strong on there. So I think let's get some more circles in now, because it's kind of a bit squarey and everything else. So let's come in and let's actually get some circles in. And even if you haven't done the dots, you can still see where you want it to go. And what I love is here, where we've got this kind of curvy edge, that's actually going to kind of block that in. So it's going to enable you to create like a little bit more depth. So like for instance, let's do it in there. Now I actually think I need a green. So I'm gonna grab Twisted Citron. So I'm kind of like look, these are my colours. So really nice spring colours. This is my favourite, all-time favourite colour combination. Because you can, you know, these two are going to make lilac. You've got blue and green as well. That just makes a really nice sort of, you know, your peacock feather kind of is like almost these two together. And then you've got your yellow and green. So, you know, you can just use whatever you want. It's up to you, whatever colours you want to do. I'm going to put the mustard seed to the side. That didn't really work as I wanted it to. So I'm still using my, what's it? Salvage patina, and I'm just going to go a little bit darker in there with that. And let's just get a little bit, I'm still quite soft though, I must admit. It's not, you know, I'm not going mad with it. So, and then let's get a bit of green. So I'm going to come in with my detail brush this time. And the reason I'm going green is because this one on this side's already gone a bit green. And green and yellow is a really nice combo. So you could add a little bit of green in there. We can start to just build it in now. That's quite strong. Let's just add a little bit of green into the yellows. And let's just even bring it in a little bit into the blue. Maybe a bit down there. Oh, that looks nice. Look how it's starting to kind of take shape. But then in here, look, we've got nothing. So we need a layer in there. So let's find, I really like these teardrop ones. So look, this is the other thing. So you can position these wherever you want to. So let's go with a teardrop there. Okay. And let's just add a little bit of blue and a little bit of green in there. And it just, in fact, a little bit more, I think. I'm going to put a little bit more blue in, just down this bottom corner. Now these would be great if you love tangling, or if you do Sandra's Zentangle, Sandtangle. These stencils would be amazing for that, because they'd look fab if you actually tangled in them as well. So let's put a little bit in there. And can you see what I'm doing? So I'm just actually outlining the edge of those pieces. And then let's do, look, I've got an archway in there. I didn't think I was going to, these are very addictive, I have to say. This wasn't going to be this at all. So let me grab, I'll add a bit more yellow. This was just going to be a quick background, but look, I've got a bit addicted. So we've kind of got another teardrop there with that arch. And you could, if you wanted to, if you feel like you need, you could actually kind of cross over 2 panels, so we could put it there if we want. Let's go. I want it like a funky shape. Let's go. See, look, I've got this half one here, look. So you could flip, and you could do like your halves that way. Honestly, it's up to you. There's so many different things you can do with these. They're just absolutely fab. So what should we do? Let's put green in there, because green and blue are going to be a good combo. So let's highlight that with a bit of green and blue. You see what I mean? So I don't want to layer this anymore. I'm going to kind of leave it where we are. I would maybe play a bit more with it, but I don't want to spend a whole hour. I'm already at 26 minutes. But you get the idea. Be nice to maybe bring some orange into your pink, but don't, you know, I feel like the next layer is when I might start getting a little bit muddy. So I don't want to do that. One thing I do want to do though, that I've just seen, is I've kind of got here, I've got a little bit of an arch going on, but upside down there. So what I'm going to do, I just want to in fact, let me get the blue. So you kind of want to be, if you want to add definition, don't do it with the colour that you like. That's mainly green in there. So to actually define that, I want to put, in fact, I need to do it with peacock feather. It's a little bit darker. So think about your colours, because if I'd have gone green, it wouldn't have highlighted it so much. Look, that's nice and strong now. And also what I could do there is then come in with my Picked Raspberry, and let's just highlight down that centre. And I'm not going round there because this is starting to go brown. So I'm not going round there. But what I can do is go round that side and highlight that. See what I mean? So I would, if I was you, I would kind of literally go around, and I would tend to highlight things, because I kind of like things, I like things subtle, but I like them quite dramatic as well. You see what I mean? So just once you've got your circles and everything in there established, then you could just come in just with a little tiny bit, like just like that, and just highlight where those are. So you could do that as well. I mean, obviously I'm saying, you know, I would do this, but you can do whatever you want. But you'll see as you're using it, like there's a yellow one there that's got nothing in it whatsoever. It's hardly, you can hardly see it. But let's see, there's one there. I kind of like that one. We haven't got that one going up. Honestly, these are such nice stencils. They really are fab. So let's go with a bit of blue in that one, just to highlight that around the edge, because that's yellow and it's going to be quite subtle. So let's just get a bit of blue going in there, and that's just lifted that out there as well. Right, okay, so that's the boho circles. So honestly, I think that's a real must-have set of stencils. They're just, so as I said, there's 4 in a set, but you can see how versatile they are and how much you're going to use those. These are going to be great for men, and you can see from the effect that we've created there, you could do this monotone, so you could, it would look fab, which was what I was going to do to start with. I was just going to do it in blues, which would look absolutely amazing. Now I want to show you what that then looks like if you go a little bit stronger. Oh no, sorry, I can't. I'm doing, sorry, ignore me. I do have some samples somewhere. Let me see. Let me show you. So look at that one. So all pinks, oranges, yellows. So if you kind of stick to those monotone kind, like you know, your monotones, so you're staying in the same colour families, basically like cool colours or warm colours are going to work together really nicely. It makes it, that one's quite, you know, quite a lot heavier than this one. This is definitely going more into those sort of spring colours. But you can do a lot with these. And like I say, they're going to look fab for men's cards, boys' cards, because it's just a generic look. Right, okay, let me just cover these up because it's really warm in here. I don't want these drying out. And I need a bit more room. Okay, so get all these stencil brushes out of the way. Right, so we've got our background made. And what I want to do next is, sorry, I've kind of lost what I was going to do. No, I've not lost what I was going to do at all. What I want to do, so I want to look at the, let me see, the typewriter stamps. So this is one of the new stamp sets in Bright and Beautiful collection. So you've got just a little note, and you can see here, this is this gorgeous typewriter with all these flowers coming out of it. Absolutely gorgeous. And then you get these extra flowers and foliage in there as well, and you get a couple of sentiments too. This looks tiny. These are A5 stamps, so these are big stamps, as you can see here. You've also got the outlined eyes that are going to match these too. So we're going to use this. I love this stamp. Look, this is one whole stamp. It's 4 inches big. It's massive. So what it definitely does look like 60s wallpaper. And that's kind of where the boho name came from. We were going to call it boho chic, this collection. And then when I was thinking about it, I thought, well, yeah, but I don't want it to be, I don't want people to think, oh, yeah, it's a 70s, 60s, 70s collection, which is, to me, can be a bit naff. So that I changed the name to Bright and Beautiful, but the individual things are called boho for that reason. So I'm going to just grab my half-burnt charred cardstock. Okay, and we're going to stamp this out. Okay, so you can see how big, look, it's bigger than my hand, this stamp. So I would definitely use your stamping platform for this, because it's a big stamp and sometimes they can be a little bit tricky to stamp. So let's put this down there. I'll get my magnets. Whoops. Oh, crikey. You wouldn't think necessarily this would work, this stamp would work. It's not the first kind of, it might not be the first look you would think about getting is, you know, a florally typewriter with this kind of very modern looking geometric stencils. Maybe not a look that you would automatically think of, but the two are going to look really nice together because it's going to kind of give you that side-by-side contrast. So I'm just going to use my Priscilla because my hands aren't brilliant, and this is a big stamp, and my desk bows a little bit in the middle like that, so sometimes if I don't stamp very well, it's because I'm pressing hard on the center like there. It's actually my desk. So what I do is I move my stamp to the edge where I've got more support. I'm actually working on, my desk is like one big long worktop, and I've got one little support in the middle now. I think my ink pad's a bit dried out actually. So I'm going to come back in. Oops, it's definitely a bit dry. It's very warm in here, so whenever I ink my stamps up, they go a bit dry quite quickly if I don't stamp them quick. Let's try again. I'll just try pressing right in. I can see it's not actually, I'm not grabbing the paper. I can see I'm not. So if you have this issue with this stamp, because it's a big stamp, so just persevere. It's not that there's anything wrong with it. It is just literally that it's a bit hard to get in. Right, I'm going to go with that, okay, because it's getting quite black on the other areas. I need to wash it, I think. I think that's the issue. I haven't cleaned it. So let me put that away for cleaning. I'll put it to one side. I must clean it. What happens if you don't clean your stamps? For years I didn't clean my stamps, and I've actually changed my habits a little bit, because I find that if I don't clean it, what happens is I get the ink dries, and I kind of feel like it then kind of coats the stamp, and then, you know, after a while, it's okay the first couple of times of not washing it or cleaning it, but then I find after a while you get like a build-up of ink, and that ink then can stop it stamping quite so well. That's my theory anyway. I think that's what the issue is with that one. So I'm going to just die cut this out now. If I'm plugged in, yes I am. Grab my plates. Don't need that. The other thing I forgot to say as well. Ooh, I've just had an idea. Oh guys, I've got to do this. The other thing I forgot to tell you about these stencils. These are your emboss ink stencils, don't forget. These are mega thick, so you can see when I'm using them, look. These are thick stencils. This is the stickiest, it's not the thickest stencil material we can get. If I went any thicker, you wouldn't be able to actually do it. But these are a heavy stencil, so you can actually emboss them. So I'm going to emboss this. So I'm going to pick my clean. Now, obviously, if we emboss this, we're only going to be able to do it once, because obviously once we've embossed it, it's kind of gonna, that's the thing. Sorry, I'm losing train of thought because I've lost one of my plates for my cutting machine. Where's that gone? Oh no, I haven't. Sorry, I'm just upside down. I've got my plates on the wrong way. So I'm going to use my rubber mat. So let's just stick that on there. Yeah, so if you emboss it more than once, obviously you're going to flatten the first emboss. So you can only really, you can emboss it twice, but it, like I say, it flattens the first impression. So you end up with kind of only half an impression on one. So it's not really worth it. I'd rather just do one. But I am going to just put that through. And I haven't got a shim in there, so it might not be great. I might have to put it through again. My machine, I'm using a Gemini Junior, and I find that it does actually need, yeah, I've not done it. I need a shim. So I just have a piece of cardstock that just seems like it's the perfect shim for me. That's on, in addition to the other shim that's in there. Okay, let's try it again. And look how warped my plates are. So it's not ideal. The other thing I'll say as well about your Gemini that I find is I'm using the black embossing mat. I find it's better than the purple one. The purple one is a bit floppier, and I just find that, oh, that's so nice. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Yeah, you can. Can you just see there? Look. Look at the emboss. Look, if I turn that over, look how deep that embossing is. Isn't that nice? Really nice. It's just, oh, that is really lush. It's actually giving it a real lift. Do you know, I'm quite tempted to put it through again, but I won't do, just for time. But just to show you that really does work. So let's get this cut now. Yeah, it really works. It's lovely. Oh, I'm glad I did that. Do you know, I can't see very well, and it's because I've got my glasses on. I've got to tell you as well something else. Another boo-boo I've made this week. Well, this week actually. So I recently bought some new glasses, okay? And if anyone's in the mood, if anyone needs new glasses, I've got a discount code I can give you for a website where they are so cheap. Normally, you know, like forget paying £200. Like my frames are like from 20 quid. So basically my glasses, prescription glasses, £50–60 max with special lenses and everything. So if anybody wants new glasses, if you let me know, if you message me, I'll give you a discount code that they give me. I don't earn anything off it, but basically you get like 2-for-1 frames, discount off your lenses and all of that malarkey. So instead of paying £200 for your glasses, they're like £60 tops, really. How nice that's come out, isn't that lush? So the other thing I want to do here that I didn't do before, and I should have done while I still had my stamping platform out, is I want to just stamp and cut the other flowers in this set. So let's just, and this is just so that we can just layer these up a bit. Do I need any? Oh, yeah, I need some foliage. No, I'm not going to do the foliage. I don't think I need the foliage. I always have to check. Sometimes I put these on the wrong way around, you know, and stamp on the back of the stamp. Do you do that? Oh, look what I'm doing now. I told you, didn't I? This is migraine city, this. Look, I'm trying to stamp with the lid. This is what it does to me when I have my migraine medication. Honestly, it makes me go a bit doolally. Do you do that? I have to say I do it often, and then I'm like there thinking, why ain't that inking? I've even gone as far as not even realising before and actually trying to stamp it. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely my ink pad that's drying out. I'm not impressed actually because I haven't had this one very long, so I'm not that impressed that it's drying out already. But again, I am in the middle of my table again, so it definitely works better when I stamp on the edge. Makes you sleepy. Yeah, me too. It definitely makes me go a bit woozy. I get a lot of night headaches. I think it's a menopause thing. Right, let's just bung that out of the way. So let's get these cut as well. So I'm having to use some scrap tape here. I don't know where my other one is. I've probably got these cut already, but anyway, never mind. Let's grab a bit of tape off that one. All the times I have loads of spare tape stuck on, you know, like when you have bits stuck to your desk that you've saved, when you remove them off your dies, and then when I actually do need it, I don't have any. Right, okay, so let's put them through. So I'll just put it away bottom out of the way. And like I say, you do get little sentiments on here as well, but I'm not going to use those today. I think I want to use some of the others. Oh, I've moved. Let me see, look. That one moved. Let's move on. I've got no nails either. All my nails have kind of gone haywire this week. Better save my tape. Right, okay. God, I'm all over the place. Honestly, I can't keep anything in my fingers. That's the thing as well. It makes me a little bit, it makes me, well, say a little bit, it makes me very clumsy. Really clumsy. So, right, okay. So, we've got our thingamajig. And the other thing that I want to use here is our new shutter circle dies and heart dies. So this is fabulous. So if you haven't seen these before, I just love these. I'll show you this circle actually. So basically, you're going to get 2 dies in the set, and they separate, okay? So they come joined together, but you need to just separate them. So you can cut this shutter out, and it's like a grid. It's absolutely amazing. It's fab. I'm a little in love and a bit obsessed with these. So, sorry, I'm trying not to look at the screen. You can then just use it as a circle die, but you can use it separately. And so what this one does, this is what I call like an innie out die. So you've got the innie bit and then you've got the out bit. And what you can do then is, if you use it without the outer, you actually end up, if you didn't see these last time, you actually end up like this. So it creates a shutter in your actual background, which is really cool. These are fantastic for then kind of layering things in. So they're just absolutely fabulous. The other thing you could do if you wanted was to cut 2 of these and actually turn one round and actually have one at an angle, or you could do it at an angle. So if you could have it that way, so you could have it diagonally on a project. You can have it vertically, so you can use it any way you want. What I do love about it as well is that you get all of the little strips from it as well. So one thing that I think is really cool is to then actually weave these. So look, you could weave your pieces, and I think this would look really nice if you also just cut strips of coloured card, and you could weave this in and out. So if you actually glued this down, say for instance, do you know what this reminds me of? Like doing this. This would look amazing if you were doing anything with like a bit of a Japanesey feel or an Asian kind of theme, anything like that. If you had something like a cherry blossom stamp or something similar to that, it would look absolutely amazing. But also, it's really nice for you can when you layer it over a colour background, it completely changes the background as well. So it's really nice. Great for using with any of your papers. Great for using with scraps. So we've got the circle one, and then you actually also have the heart one. These have been so popular, and I'm really pleased that everyone's loving them. So this is the heart, which is equally just as nice. What I did on this one, and it's great for creating an aperture as well. So look, this one I actually just cut the heart, and then this one I cut that one. And look, you could, I didn't actually match it up very well, but you could actually layer them. So if you wanted to, you could kind of create, I thought this would be really nice to kind of put some 3D foam down the edge maybe, and then you could actually layer and actually maybe like put acetate through. But I think that would be, I haven't done it yet, but this would be really nice cut from acetate. It'd be a totally different look. So if you did that through acetate or did it through some vellum, I think it would look amazing if you could do it as like the front of a card. And then, like I say, you can weave if you want to. I don't know whether I'm going to do that on this one, but yeah, it just, look, there's so many things you can make with these, and just a real timeless, useful die that's a little bit different to everything else that you've probably got in your stash. So that's one that I would definitely grab. And don't forget, whilst I just think about it, oops, I've got all my, I call them the sticks, the little strips. Don't forget, in the top, if you're just joining the live and there's loads of comments in here, right at the top, there's a discount code. So there's an exclusive discount code just for the live, and it's Sunday 15, and that's 15% off the whole website until tomorrow night. So Monday at midnight it runs out. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to actually use a circle, okay? And I think, I don't know. See, look what would happen if you actually if you start playing around with this. Look, you see, you can do all sorts with it, can't you? How cool would that be? You could even like half cut it, couldn't you? So, or just like use a half. I don't know. What would you do with it? I'm kind of quite liking. I don't know. Let's see where we go. I had these already cut, so this was a demonstration that I was supposed to do on Hobby Maker, but we never got around to it. So what I want to do here is kind of have my the other reason I really love this stamp set, by the way, is you could trim the typewriter off this really easily, and you could just have like a nice bunch of flowers like that. So just trim that down. Easy really to do. So I think what we'll do here, let's go with that squeezed lemonade. I'm liking the yellow for a change. So let's go with the squeezed lemonade. And let's just highlight just some little bits. So you don't need to really think too much. And what I might do is, actually, you know what, let's go blue for a change. Let's stay with the yellow and blue theme, shall we? So look, let's just, in fact, I'll go, oops, wrong leg, wrong place. Let's go with peacock feather, just because it's going to show up a little bit better on the live. So let's just go around that background bit in there. And if you really wanted to, let's just see how it looks if we just put a little tiny bit of that green in there, because we are going to have, like, you know, where the foliage would be. So look, this is what I love about this stamp. So you don't have to, it looks really complicated to colour. Can I zoom in on this a bit? But look, we're doing this with a stencil brush and colouring it. You know, how nice is that? And then maybe just a hint of blue in the actual typewriter itself. Okay, now you saw me last week use this and I forgot to do it, but I am not forgetting this week. Let me just get my, gosh, I can't get into everything. Where's my craft knife gone? Okay, so the typewriter here, this is kind of where the keys would be. So I'm going to cut a little section out of that. You can do it with your scissors if you want to. It'll easily pop out. So I'm just going to pop out and just create just a little gap there. And then what I want to do here, I'm going to have to trim them down a little bit. So this one, where I didn't cut it properly, just trim that off. And nobody's even going to know that was misdone. Okay, so again, let's just go in with that yellow. Happy birthday for tomorrow. It's not my birthday tomorrow. It was my birthday 2 weeks ago. What makes you think it's my birthday tomorrow? Well, I'm gonna just do them green. Let's just do these bits green, but that green, we also need a bit of blue on there to kind of make it matching as well. But thank you for wishing me happy birthday. If it was me, or were you wishing it to somebody else? Maybe it's somebody else. So I'm just going to put a little bit of blue just in the centres. And it's just going to pull the whole thing together, just like that. And then what I want to do is I'm going to get my glue gel, if I can find it. Where's that gone? I've got some new drawers for under my desk, and now I can't find anything. I think that's had it. Bear with me, guys. I need some glue gel. Oh, there it is. Have I finally run out of luck with my pin flare? Yeah, so pretty much done. Those of you that use a syringe with your glue gel, I really admire you. It's not something I can do. I'll get in a right mess with it, to be honest, if I try that. Alright, where's my cookie? Okay. Let's get this party started. So I'm going to so this one is going to sit there. This one decoupage is there. And then this one is that section there. So I'm going to now what I like to do when I decoupage is I kind of like to do it at a bit of an angle. And I find that when I do that, you can kind of manipulate things a little bit better. So like I'm doing 3 layers here, but what it enables me to do is kind of actually just prop things up a bit more. So let's just, you can get those layers in a bit easier, is what I'm saying. So that one there, I mean, it doesn't even matter how you do that one. If I just show you what I mean, can you see how like I kind of do them at a little bit of an angle instead of them being flat? And very often what I like to do is I try and snip into these a bit if I can. It doesn't always work, it depends on the actual stamp, but let's just snip in, and then let's just maybe, it's not really going to work on this one. No, it's not going to work on that one really, not with how I've done it, but anyway, it just helps you maybe get like a little bit more movement. I think I want that one at the top actually. Let me just cut that off. That's got like a funny bit that didn't cut properly. But you just shape them if you want to. It's up to you. No rules. Remember, no rules in crafting. So, I'm getting sticky already. So the kind of idea that I've got here is that we have our card. So we've got this, and then there's quite a lot going on, but it's going to look quite nice. So if we actually, see what I mean, that circle, it can go a diagonal, which would be quite nice. And then so here, yeah, somewhere like that. Kind of liking that. Oops. Right, we're on an hour already. I need to get a shift on, don't I? Okay. So the other thing I've got here, let me see. I want to use some of the flowers and a couple of embellishments. So we've got the Leafy Flourish dies. So again, from the Bright and Beautiful collection. Obsessed, absolutely obsessed with these. And again, this, I'm going to just distress this a little bit. So I want a little bit of blue on this because it'll just help us, again, establish that colour. And bring that same colour family in. So you can see that I've not deviated off my colours at all. So it's all pretty much the same kind of colour wheel. I'm going to take the vellum out of this, I think. I've not glued that down because I'm not quite sure where I want it to go yet. And I'm kind of going to do that on a bit of a, at the side, I think. So let's, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I think, oh, that'd be nice, like that, look. Just play around before you glue anything down. Kind of liking that going up. Sorry, I've gone off. No, I've just gone off the edge as I always do. I always pull it towards me. Sorry. So that's starting to look quite nice. There is actually a smaller leaf, so you get two dies in this set. So they come joined. So you can cut both together at the same time. So then you've got this leaf here, and that one. I think I'm kind of wanting to. Yeah, I want to glue that in there. So let's just put a bit of gel under that one in there and start to build this up a little bit. I've got another one cut there. I've used these dies so much, I'm absolutely obsessed with it. And oh, and that one can come down there. Right, what I'm going to do, I've decided where I'm putting things now. So let's put a little bit of gel behind here just so that it's quick and easy to stick down. And let me just move that out of the way. Just move that. Fact, I can't decide whether to go diagonal or not, but I think I'm going to. And what I like is down here, I've got kind of embossing at the side, the edges, so that's gonna, I'm not covering up that embossing. Right, okay. So, right, this one. I'm getting glue everywhere now. And that one, I kind of want that coming down a little bit more there. Okay. I'm also want to use, again, because I'm a little bit obsessed with it, the heart strings dies as well, because these are so nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a little tiny bit of glue on the, I'm just going to run it along my pokey tool just so that there is some glue there. And then what I want to do, and this is why I used the gel, because I want to be able to move things. I'm going to kind of want that coming down here. So I'm going to just lift this up and thread this through there. And it's just going to catch on some of that. Now I've got two of these. So, because you get a left and a right heart, okay? So I'm going to just trim that one off. And then this one, I'm just going to catch and put that on a slightly, so we're getting two at in the same place, if you like. And then let's put this back on. So it's all about those layers with this. I'm just building this right up. Look at these make, this is why I keep saying these are not just for Valentine's. Don't think these are just for like a love card. They're not. They're just, these make such a nice little embellishment. They're absolutely gorgeous. Honestly, they're just, the whole collection just works so nicely together. And then one thing I did want to do, we've also got, what have I done with them? What's on the flowers? Oh yeah, okay. So we have our flower dies. So this is the dahlia dies. So in case you didn't see these last week or on TV when we launched these, this is this set here. So this is the dahlias. These look like such boring kind of everyday flowers. And you might think, oh yeah, I've already got these in my stash, but it's what you do with them that makes them absolutely stand out. So I'm just saying, oh gosh, lots of people here. Wow, thank you everyone. And then this is what you can make with these. So look at the dimension on these. These are just incredible. So look at this. This is like an actual dahlia flower. So this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 layers plus the center, 5 flowers and the center, and that's what you can make. You can make it look like this, where it's quite open. You can make it look like this. It looks like a chrysanthemum this way. This one, all I did was I pinched the petals upwards. This one, again, kind of like a chrysanthemum, but in, you know, like going the opposite way. And then this one is like, oh, well, I don't know. I just pinched it the other way. So let's make some flowers as well. I can't do a live in an hour. I've just got to admit that it's not possible for me to do that. So anyway, I'm not stopping because I've got in my mind what I want to do. So let's just, so we're going to use the same yellows, I think. I'm a bit sticky. Where's my sponges? Just clean those. I've got glue on my cutting mat. Yuck. Okay, so let's get more of our yellow, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to go from the outside edge. Yeah, okay. And then on the next layer, I might do it on the inside. So let's just see, and that might help us like layer a little bit easier. So we've got one on the outside there, look. So I already showed you how to do this last week. So apologies if I'm repeating, but I do love it. So all I'm going to do with the flower, as you can see, I'm going to pinch just squeeze the petal. Just use your thumbnails. It's the easiest way of doing it, trust me. And what I do is, if you place your finger there and then get your other hand and just push it towards your finger, it actually is quite easy to do. When I first started doing it, I was being a bit fiddly with it, but if you just use that nail and just push it against your nail, really, and it'll just make it squeeze, because you don't want to pinch the whole entire thing. You just only need to do the end of the petals. Okay, and then look, it kind of makes them go pointy. So this one I did last week, so it's gone a bit flat. And you can obviously do them as much as you like. Right, okay, let's get a bit of glue going on that one. And then we're just going to layer them. And now, it depends how many layers you're going to do. So obviously the bottom one I did the centre, so I've got the yellow coming through the centre there. But this top one, I've done it on the outer edge. So it's up to you how you want to do it. I kind of feel like there's quite a lot of colour going on here. So I'm not sure. In fact, I'm not sure that might even be a bit big. I might not use that one. So I think I need to go a bit smaller on my flowers. So let's do this one. I'm going to do the whole one. Okay, so again, finger, just push it against your finger, even on the small ones. That's if you want to make the dahlia, of course. You don't have to. You could use whatever you want. Okay, and then I need there's five. I think there's 5 different sizes of flower here. Now this one, you start getting a little bit fiddlier with. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make a different flower. So let's just push that in and we'll make a different flower. Because I'm just conscious of time. So let's just push that into there. Let's see where we are. I just wanted something extra. That's it. That can just sit on there. I mean, you could make it into a different colour if you wanted to. You know, just to break it up a little bit maybe. And then what I'm going to do, wherever it's gone, there it is. I'm just going to use one of my tonic drops, in fact. Yeah, I will. So this is the pearl one. And I'm just going to, we have got a flower centre for this. In fact, I want to use that actually, because it's very nice. Where's it gone? Oh, I don't know. Never mind. You get foliage in there as well, by the way. There it is. So we'll just colour the centre, and I'll make that a bit stronger in terms of ink. And then I'm just going to, again, roll that round, so that's your like little stamens in there. Just going to use this just for a bit of, oh, don't say me, oh, nearly had an accident there. Let's just put that in there. And it just finishes it. And then I'm just going to put a little blob of my Nouveau drop in the centre, just as like a little pearl centre. Right, I need to tidy this a bit. Let's make some space, guys. Oh, everything's sticking to me. I've got my magnetic ruler and everything sticks to it if it dies. This one, actually, you know what? one little trick I really like doing. I need to just, I'm getting glue on my thing. Let's just clean that off. Okay, just one little trick that I do all the time that I find really, really useful. So where I've got a big flower like this and it's too big, what I do is I cut it in half like this. A rhinestone would be nice in the middle, yeah, definitely. And then what you can do, yeah, that's going to work, is I will then use that to go behind so I'm not wasting a whole flower. I'm sure you've all done it as well, but it's just a nice way of kind of adding a little bit extra, but you get 2 flowers for the price of 1. So if it's something, oh, that looks really nice. Oh my gosh, there's so much dimension on this, it's lovely. There's 2 other things, right? So we need the sentiment. I did get them out, I thought I got them out. Maybe I didn't. Okay. So let me just put that to one side for a second. So I'm going to use, this is the strip sentiment die set, okay? And we also have the strip sentiment stamps to go with it. This is one whole stamp. So look at the size of this. This is an A5 or a 6x8 inch stamp set. So this is just one stamp, and you're going to stamp the whole lot in one go, and then you can die cut it in one go as well. And where this makes it a little bit, where this is a bit different to a lot of the others that you will have seen out there, is that this die is set up. So basically on the strips you get 24, I think there's 24 sentiments here. You need to cut these centrally, so you just need to snip down them in these long strips. So each strip has at least 2 sentiments in it. The reason I've done that is so that when we do the next stamp, it's easier for me to put extra sentiments in. If I actually had the diagonal, the vertical slice as well, if you like for instance there, hello, when I come to do another stamp to fit this die, I can only put a really short word into that gap, so it gives me lots more room to actually add whatever sentiments I need in there. Like here, love you, that's a short one as well. What else would I be able to put into that gap? So I've got, you know, like, it just makes it more versatile for the future. So grab this die, and look, you can see here, this is another thing that's different to the other strip dies, is that you've also got squares on here as well, so you've got versatility. So you've got your long strips here, and then you've got your shorter but bigger sentiments here, and there will be more stamps to match this die set, okay? So this die, I've actually ordered 4 times the stock that we would normally have of this die, because we're going to have more stamps to go with it in future. So I've already stamped, and look how well they cut. So you've got, hey, these are all just generic sentiments as well. So it's a really good selection. So birthday, hello, just a little something, you make me smile, another year of beautiful moments. You've got happy Easter, you're the best, just because, hope you're feeling brighter soon, get well soon, a little hello from me, here's to one more trip around the sun, wishing you a beautiful day, congratulations, happy anniversary, sending you extra strength for the days ahead. I love that one, thinking of you. So it's a really great set. It's got everything in there that you're probably going to need. And then all you've got to do is literally just stamp it once and cut it, and then just keep all your sentiments in a folder like I do. And you know, that's just so easy. By the way, if you're liking these folders, I showed you these last week and loads of you went and got them. I actually restocked them. These folders are fantastic. So unlike normal folders that are open at the top or have a press stud, these just have a flat flap that holds everything in. And I bought these specifically. I was trying them for myself. I actually found them, and I was looking for something for myself. Whoops, I can't get my folder. I wanted something to store. Let me zoom out. Oops. I wanted something to store my stencils in. Okay. And the best thing to store my stencils that I can find is a ring binder. So I was putting them into folders, but they were all falling out. And then I put them in the snap folders, but then you can't get many in. But look, in here, these are flat. They're flat wallets. So these, for me, are the best thing I've ever found to store my stencils in. And yes, they're large, but it means you can get more than one stencil in one set. Because, you know, especially for us, we tend to sell things in collections, and that's how you all buy them. So you could put all of your stencils from the Bright and Beautiful collection in one set. But the reason I wanted them like this is so that when you have the layering stencils, you can actually put your set of layering stencils. So that's the 3 poppies. This is the full set of 6 for boho petals. So, you know, I've kind of got them in there, and they're all filed, because I don't know about you, but storing stencils is just an absolute nightmare. So that's what they're for. So go to the website for those. They're in packs of, I don't know, 5 or 10, something like that. And they'll be a permanent item. There is also, I have just restocked these ones. So these are the little A5 ones that have got the popper on as well. They're restocked. They're not for binders, they're just like your little wallets. But I use those all the time for, I find them really good for like my die cuts and my dies. So I put them in there. And then I can cut things and keep it with my die, and it's all secure and everything. There are also A4 ones of these now in the store. So if you're in, you know, if you're needing extra storage, they're all in there. Also, don't forget that we do still have some of the squirrel and vine storage as well. So make sure you check out the squirrel and vine storage, because that's amazing. Oops, I've frozen. Ooh, what's going on there? What's happened? Oh dear, my battery's gone. Right, hang on. Sorry, I will get the right camera. There we go. Whoops. Oh, you don't want to see my messy desk, do you? There we go. Right, okay. So, let's get this baby finished. So what I want to do here, remember we cut our little sliver out of the typewriter. So what I want to do is I'm going to take one of my strips. So this one says, oh, it's not the right one, this one. This one says another year of beautiful moments. So I'm just going to cut this down, and I'm going to just curl that ever so slightly, and then I'm going to just twist it actually. So look, I'm just going to bend it, and I want it to go that way actually. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put some, I mean, I'm using glue gel here because I like to change my mind as I go along. There's in that slit, I'm going to just have that coming out of there, and then we'll just put a little bit more just under the end just to secure it a little bit there. And then that is our sentiment, and it's coming out of our typewriter, so it's as if it's actually being typed. So that's that. And there was something else. Oh yeah, one more thing. Yeah, sorry, it is another die. You probably can guess which one it's going to be because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. This is, oh sorry, I'm going to have to cut this. I didn't realise I didn't have any cut. So this is the ribbon heart tag die, that one. I'm obsessed, absolutely obsessed with this die. I've got to have it on absolutely everything. It's the ribbon. I'm just the bow. Honestly, I can't stop using it. I absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Right, okay. Need some cardstock. Where's it gone? Now, you could cut this in whatever colour you want. I'm just going to do mine in white because I feel like it looks really nice in white. Just quickly cut that. Have you all been entering win? Put win in the comments, everyone. The code is Sunday15. It's in the top of the comments, Jill. Let me just, bear with me 1 second. I'll just actually copy that back in. I'll put it in now because it'll be right in the top comments. So Sunday15. It is case sensitive, so make sure you use it. Make sure you do it right. Right, okay. So, where's my dewberry gone? Okay. So, with this die, you get this lovely little tag. Oh, I need to find another pokey tool I've got. Oh, do you know? I was sorting my stuff out the other day and I found my original pokey tool. I thought, this has been missing for about 3 years and I've been devastated about it. And this is my favourite pokey tool in the whole world and I've had it since I first started crafting. I was devastated because I thought I'd lost it. Anyway, I found it in a box of stuff. Look how delicate this is. This is just absolutely gorgeous. And then also in here, you get this little kind of embellishment, this little dewberry. I call it a little dewberry. I don't know what it is. Like a little dongle that's got a little heart cut out of it. I'll see. I can't zoom in anymore on this camera. Sorry. Lost my thing now. I need to just put that away before so I don't lose it. But this set is gorgeous. You'll have seen me use this last week and I'm pretty much using it on everything. Can't stop using it. And all the little hearts cut out, so they're like little tiny minuscule hearts all cut out, so you can actually use those as well, which is really cute. So all I want to do, and look, it kind of matches the heartstring, you know, because it is all string. You know, that was kind of one of the themes of this collection of dies, was that I wanted them to be like really delicate and pretty. So where are we going to put this now? We could have it at the top there, maybe. I'm kind of feeling maybe there, I don't know, maybe it's too much. See, this also would look really nice in the centre of your flowers too. Just show you what that would look like. So say for instance here, you know, like look, if you actually put that in the centre of your flower, how pretty would that be? Just gorgeous. Honestly, it's literally thin as a piece of string. It's basically 1 millimetre. So where shall we put that? I'm kind of feeling, I feel like there's a bit much going on for it, but I need to have it in. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it there. But what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to put it in there, but I'm going to make that sit behind the flower. And there is actually a centerpiece for it. Now the other thing as well is like the little dongle bit is really nice too. So you could also have, let's just grab a bit of, where's that going to go? I don't know. I think that might be a bit much. I'm not going to fit that in anywhere. But what I am going to fit in, I just put, I've got a little tiny bit of glue there. And if I just pick that up, I've got a little tiny pink heart. that came from when I cut it out of a piece of pink cardstock, and I'm actually going to use that for the centre of that. In fact, what I'm going to do, change my mind, to make it match, I'm going to just get my tonic pearl, and I think I've made the other one go a bit flat. So what I might do, just going to add a little pearl onto those heartstrings as well, so they're just in the middle. And I'm going to just finish that end bit there too. That's really nice. And actually, one more thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to just add a couple of pearls into these green die cuts, just so that they look like berries, and it'll just kind of add just that little tiny finishing touch, I think. Yeah, it does. That's so nice. Okay, we're done. Right, let me show you this close up. See what I mean? Just here, I've put them a bit close together. But just finishing on those little die cuts. Isn't that pretty? But look at the dimension of it as well. Look at that dimension. I mean, I know we've taken an hour and a half to make this, but I don't care, because that's like a bit of a showstopper, isn't it? Can you imagine if you made that? You'd be able to, if you were selling that card, you know, wherever, I think you could easily charge £5 for it. I'm shocked at how expensive the cards are in the shops right now. I mean, they're all like, anything decent is well over. I mean, it was my mum's birthday the other day, and there was a pop-up card, and it was £15 for a pop-up card, and it, you know, yeah, it was nice, but I tell you what, there wasn't a card like this in there. And if there had have been, it would have been like between that £8 to £10 range. So let me just bring this up a little bit higher so you can see it a bit more. But look at these. This really made a difference. Just cutting those down and just layering them into it as well. There's a lot going on, but it doesn't look too busy either. And I just love having these like ticker tape kind of things. If you've got a Dymo machine, you could actually Dymo it, and that would look really nice as well. And just have a little bit of Dymo coming out of the end. So that is it. And I think the background's just perfect for it as well with that stencil. I think it's just nice having that, you know, those little hints of pink, even though we've not really used it and in anything else. I think that's really worked quite well. Right, okay, I'm not going to touch that now. Let me just put my glue away so that it doesn't go off. Okay. Right. So, thank you guys. Thanks for sticking with me. I realise it's been a really long time. So, right, who is going to be our winner then? So don't forget, first of all, if you've not put win in the comments, you need to do it now. So the code is Sunday 15 for 15% off your order until tomorrow night, midnight tomorrow night. So go and fill your boots at the website. So that's at polkadoodles.com or .co.uk, whichever you want to do. And that's on everything. So digits, physical products, whatever you want. So I am going to go into the win comments, and I'm going to see, I'm going to pick a winner. Let's see. A craft one would be amazing. Yes, it would. Craft string. Yeah. Yeah, it would. That little ribbon in craft card. Yeah, it would. It would literally look like it was a piece of twine then. It would look gorgeous. Right, okay. Let's see. The winner is Not Christine Smith. You can't win. Christine Smith, thank you. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure that we don't. Oh, Helen Wiles. Helen Nellie Wiles. Hello, lovely. Nice to see you. I'm just going to want to make sure it's not somebody who's won recently. Let's see. Gosh, there's a lot of the comments here to go through. Oh, it's at Donna Hales. Oh, Donna, it's your birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Another Aquarian. Okay, let's see. I think the winner is Flower Bees 25. You've been here right from the beginning as well. So Flower Bees 25, congratulations, you're the winner. So I'm gonna if you can DM me on Instagram, because you're on Instagram, with your email address, I will set that up. So you've won a £20 voucher for the Polkadoodle store. So well done. That's worth having, isn't it? £20. You can get quite a lot of the dies for £20. So that is a nice little prize. I never win anything. I enter all the time as well, not win anything. I do sometimes win the postcode lottery, but well, do you know, I've just done something and look how nice it is. I'm just going to flick that over. Look how nice this is. Look, I just picked my little tag up and I had a spare little leaf. And look how pretty that is. And look, you could even just push that through the little hat. So that's off that flower tag die set. It's so pretty. It's a little kind of, looks quite insignificant, but you can do so much with it. So that I just picked them up on my desk and I looked at it and I thought, that's so lovely, just like that on its own. So, you know, you could do something like that with it. Look, isn't it nice? Anyway, right, so Flower Bees, yeah. So message me on Insta and we'll sort out your store credit. So that's me. I am done. Thank you, everyone, for sticking with me. That's been an hour and 40 minutes. Wow, that's an epic. I just can't make a quick card, can I? So I will be back again next Sunday, if not before. Probably not before. I just never seem to get the time during the week, but I will try. I also, if you're following me, if you're on TikTok, go and give me a follow there as well. It's just at Polkadoodles Crafts. It'll come up. And I am trying to do more TikTok videos as well. The aim is to kind of do two Facebook ones and 2 TikToks a week, but I don't know whether I'll get around to doing that much. So it's quite hard to fit everything in. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me on Instagram and YouTube as well as Facebook. I do see you all there, and thank you for all the lovely comments. And I hope you've all got some really nice ideas today and a bit of inspiration. So I will see you next week, if not before, and have a really good week and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I hope you're all going to go off and craft now. I'm going to go and get a drink because my throat is going. And I'll see you soon. And don't forget the codes, Sunday 15% off. And you need to take advantage of these codes because we don't often do website codes. So although we do, if you're into Digis and you don't know who we are and it's the first time here, because there's a lot of new faces here today that I don't know, we have a Wednesday code that lasts for 48 hours, which is just for Digis. And that is always between 30 to 45% off on a Wednesday and Thursday, but just on downloads. So we don't often discount the main store. So you need to grab these little codes on the lives because that is the time when I actually do a discount code for the main store for physical products. So make sure you do actually grab those little flash codes. Right, anyway, and sign up as well, because if you sign up to the newsletter, you get on the VIP newsletter. You don't have to do anything. You're not joining anything. But by signing up, you become a VIP subscriber and you get all the best discounts. So, for instance, Digi Tuesday, if it's a 40% code, you might get a 45 or a 50% code. So if you're a VIP, you often get an extra 5, 10, even 15%, and you get extra codes that nobody else gets. So that is where the discounts come in. So we don't generally, apart from like now when I'm doing an event, I don't discount. But if you're on the newsletter, that is where you get the discounts from. So if you're wondering how to get all those discount codes, that's how. Make sure you go subscribe on the website. Anyway, right, I'm going. Thank you so much, Donna. Have a lovely birthday tomorrow. And thank you, everyone, for joining me. I'll see you soon. Bye.